Welcome to Chandwell. My name's Michael and I've made this N-scale model of Bradford Cathedral out of paper and card. It's taken me almost 2 years and 33 videos to finish, but it's finally done. Watch out till the end of this video to find out how you can come and see the cathedral inside the real Bradford Cathedral this summer. The model sits in its hillside on Church Bank and everything is here. Its 15th century beginnings, the 19th century modifications and the 1950s extension on the east. And, because it's N-scale, it is very, very small. Whilst being very, very big too. In this video I'm going to talk a little bit about the completion of the model and some of the little bits and pieces that I found out and learnt along the way. Before I do that though, let's ask the cathedral's Director of Education and Visitors, Maggie Myers, about why the cathedral thought about asking me to build the thing in the first place.
So why did we think of having a model done of Bradford Cathedral? Why did we ask you to make a model? It was really because there was a piece about Chandwell on the BBC website, and my colleague Phil and I had a conversation about, coming up to City of Culture, how great would it be, always trying to think outside the box, what would be a really fun and a really sort of great way of sort of celebrating this building, and that was how we came to contact you, and that's how we came to start this amazing project.
But if you'd seen even one bit of Chandwell, you would have understood that Chandwell is a run-down, grotty part of West Yorkshire, and not really the kind of aesthetic that you'd expect the cathedral to be interested in. Weren't you worried that the cathedral might get tarred with the same spray can, so to speak?
We were not at all worried by the fact that, most of Chandwell is run down and grotty, and was that going to have a negative impact on the building? No, it hasn't at all. This building is surrounded by buildings like that, so I think it fits in very, very well in its surroundings. And Chandwell, it's not as grim as you think it is. So we're delighted, we're privileged that we are a very, very tiny part of that whole vision. And we're celebrating being a tiny little bit of Chandwell.
I spent a lot of time in 2024 simply thinking about the building. It took weeks to start to see the shapes properly and to realise that the cathedral is really made up of 23 components, 23 little buildings that fit together to form the whole. A simple mock-up made from cereal packet is a great way to test fit, proportion and the general feel of a structure before committing to the final materials. It was immediately clear just how large and complex this building would be. Of course, this isn't the first model of Bradford Cathedral ever to have been made. There's another one inside the cathedral, so I asked Maggie to show us a little bit about that.
So your model isn't the first one of Bradford Cathedral to be made. This one behind me was made in 1898, and it was made by a man called William Ogg. He also did one of City Hall. I've tried to find out a little bit about it, but there's not much around about William Ogg. But it's quite interesting to be able to compare the two buildings. This obviously was made before the extension, so ending here there's a lot more down this end now. Children love this model, so when children come on school visits they like to have a look at it, and it's it's intricate detail. So it's going to be great in a couple of months' time when we're going to have your model and this model side by side hopefully, and then people will be able to kind of look at them both.
Thanks Maggie. Stick around to the end of this video to hear a little bit more about what Maggie was talking about there, your chance to see this model in a couple of months. I just hope that this one looks half as well as that one does in 128 years' time. It was a bit sad to throw the mock-up away, but it had served its purpose, and like all my mock-ups, it went off to the recycling. The mock-up and the endless looking at photos and videos of the cathedral really made me start to appreciate the nuances in the building. The tower isn't square like I first thought, it's slightly wider than it is deep. Understanding that helps when you're working out the proportions of all the tiny arched stonework parts. For details like these, the 2 layers of paper give you a surprising amount of depth without adding bulk. An early consideration was working out whether or not to model the weeping chancel. Looking down the nave inside the building, it looks like the modern extension isn't quite straight. Sloppy 1950s builders? No, this was architect Sir Edward Morph's nod to traditional church design, where the chancel is offset slightly to one side, usually towards the north. It's impossible to see from the outside, but you can notice it on the planning documents available via the council's website. When you're modelling, I often find that quirks like this can look a little bit like mistakes unless you actually understand the history of it. So I did give a little bit of thought, do I model it straight or do I model it wonky? In the end, I decided to model it wonky. Including things like this often makes the model feel more authentic. The whole of the back part sits at an angle of 1.5 degrees to the nave. It's hard to spot unless you look at the model from above. I definitely made the right choice with that, I think. But it wasn't just me who was learning about the building of Bradford Cathedral itself as I went. I think you were as well, weren't you, Maggie?
What I've really learnt over this whole process of you making the model is really just my admiration for the craftsmanship of the building and the architecture. I'd read up lots and lots of things about the architecture of the building, but actually your focus on all the individual parts and then all your questions to me about, why is this not the same as that, and what's that window and what's this, and all of those questions, it really made me think about those original builders and the amazing proportions of the building, the old building, but also as well about Sir Edward Morph and the modern extensions and how he used what was already there but had a vision for how he was going to add to that, and how it's kind of 2 or 3 buildings in one but it works as a whole. And I've got a lot of admiration for him and what he did in adding to this building and enhancing its beauty. So yeah, cheers to Morph for that.
It's not just the big stuff though. As my attention went from building to building, I spotted an endless stream of little things. There are crenellations on the south, but not the north. The window arrangement is different on the north wing to the south wing. There's a whole subterranean passage at the back. There's a cutout in the south wing's roof that isn't there on the north. The south porch door is simply enormous. The downspouts have the cathedral's crest on them, and some have bishop's mitres on top as well. And oops, look at that. I've accidentally made this tiny street sign say my name, Scott Hill, instead of Stott Hill. What bit struck you as I went, Maggie?
My favourite little known thing was when you did the northeast corner and that lovely little almond shape, that mandorla window that you were so intrigued by, and also just in me sort of researching that and the shape and doing all the thing about that vesica piscis shape and all of that. I just loved that myself, and also the fact that you noticed these really little small things and you honed in on those. And I know so much about sort of the building itself, but your little details, I just loved that.
One of the benefits of sharing a building like this on YouTube are the fabulous comments that I get from you, my viewers. Sometimes a comment comes along that really changes things, and this one from AJ Matthews was one such one. You could take a photo of the cathedral model and include it as part of the Chandwell layout back scene. A few other people later suggested the same thing, but this is the one that set me off. A quick snap, a desaturation of the colours to suggest distance. No, too big. That's better. Stuck on a card, added a bit of glue, and there it is, Chandwell Minster on its distant hill to the west of Market Street. Chandwell Minster is a landmark in the town, and it gets a lot of important visitors. Just like Bradford, I think you've had your share of important visitors, haven't you, Maggie?
Now, as you can see behind me, this building has already had one celebrity visit. In 1997, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth came here, but I've heard on the grapevine that we're going to have another celebrity visit in June, and that Brittany Scroggins herself will be in the building. So, fingers crossed, she's going to enjoy coming here.
Thank you, Maggie. I'm already looking forward to it, and I can't wait to be there. Catch me soon for another of my world-famous walking tours of Chandwell. It's not as grim as you think it is.
That's true. Brittany's next walking tour of Chandwell will be on the channel in a couple of weeks, so keep an eye out for that. And also, join us on the 6th of June, where she might be in Bradford Cathedral itself, in person. So with the downspouts made using folded paper, a cheap and easy way to create convincing pipes at N scale, it was simply a case of adding them individually to the building. At this point, the total cost of the model in monetary terms was about £40, and most of that was printer ink. I spent almost the same again at the Doncaster Model Railway Show on grass and vegetation for the completion of the ground. But I had just one last thing to do before I could start that. Really exciting here at the cathedral. I've only got this one last bit to do before I can finish off the ground, and then the model itself is completely done. I put the roof of the north transept on in September, and I've never been fully happy with it. It looks lovely. It comes to a nice peak against the top of the wall here. It all is geometrical and it looks really nice. It is a little bit lower than it should be though, and I never quite understood why. But I was looking at a drone shot of the cathedral and I realised that actually this roof is higher and it actually gets cut off towards the top. In fact, it even overlaps this window slightly. So I've redone it, and all I need to do is glue these last 4 pieces in like this, and then put the ridge on, and then the cathedral is finished. Now, I explained that I was going to fix this to my channel members and they thought I was a little bit mad spending time doing that, but I'll do it and I think it'll make a big difference. The end result maybe looks less visually pleasing than what was there at first, and maybe future generations will question whether I've made a mistake. But this is a great example of how reality isn't always what you think it is, and why it's always best to model what you see rather than what you assume. All that was left was to sprinkle a bit of flock here and there. Building up layers slowly helps the ground look more natural, and then build up the north side jungle. I add a bush here and there. This pink one really looks the part, especially in this photo. And finally, a big thank you to my friend Tim, who made me this brass bell. And to channel member Ian, who made me the Christ sculpture for the Sanctus Tower, even though I ended up not using it. I'm really pleased with how the model has turned out. I took these photos on a dull day. Soft outdoor light is a great way to bring out surface detail without harsh shadows. I think it looks far better in real life than it does on any photo. So Maggie, tell us a little bit about what's going on at the cathedral to allow people to come and see this model for real.
There are 2 events coming up. So one is we're going to have the unveiling on Saturday the 6th of June, and that's going to be a real celebration event and everyone's going to get to see it up close, and we're just going to be able to kind of talk about everything that you did. So that's going to be fantastic. And then from the 13th of July to the 12th of September, so a good 2 months there, hopefully the model is going to be on display in the cathedral with that second model as well, and with sort of photographs and sketches of the building over the years, and people are going to get really up close with it and be able to see it in all its detail. It's going to be the start of the Bradford Heritage Festival on the 13th of July, so the model is going to be there and it's going to be our contribution to that festival, and hopefully there'll be lots of visitors coming around Bradford that will be able to see it.
Thank you, Maggie, for giving me this opportunity to show this model to the world. I know how much of a challenge it's been to fit the little model event into the cathedral's packed schedule of summer activities. It's going to be a wonderful opportunity to show the world this model, but also I'm going to have other things there as well. There's going to be some Chandwell buildings with me, some of my drawings we might have 1 or 2 special guests as well, including Brittany Scroggins. I'm sure she'd love to be there in the cathedral herself with everybody. This is actually the 34th video in the series about building the cathedral, and the whole playlist, which is up here somewhere, is over 5.5 hours long. So if you fancy a bit of a box set binge, go ahead, watch some cathedral on a Saturday evening. I'm sure you'll enjoy every minute of it. If you can't make it on the 6th of June 2026, the advert on the front wall here is saying that it's also being shown on Saturday the 29th of May 1993 in the Chandwell Model Railway Society's club rooms on Station Parade, Chandwell. Maybe I'll see you there and we can have a pint in the weir afterwards. So until the next video, or the event in June, thank you for watching this update, take care, and I'll see you then.